Most artists think that you need more of an Instagram strategy or sending more emails, getting people on your email list, or doing all the marketing advice that's normal for businesses to sell more art. But I can tell you, after 7 years at Nike Footwear Design and 20 years selling my own art on different things, I can tell you the real reason your art isn't selling isn't necessarily those things. I've sold my art for as little as $3 to grow a 250K a year business with 600 retailers stocking my work. And I've also sold my own original artwork and prints as high as $8,000. So I've seen it all. And in this video, I want to share three big things that might be causing the problem. So let me just turn on my iPad. So let's get into the three things. This is a simplified version of it, but they're really important. So I want to look at them in detail. So, number one is your art looks too similar to others. This is a really big problem. And I think a lot of artists don't really know how bad of a problem this is for them. There is a lot of artists I see out there who are looking to Instagram and finding inspiration of saying, oh, well, they're successful. I should do more of what they're doing. But that's actually not really great as far as the positioning goes. We'll talk about that in a minute because you're looking too similar to other artists and you are really in what I call the pick a style category when the buyer is not necessarily loyal to you as an artist. They're actually just picking a style and they have so many choices to choose from. And the nuances that you might see in your art versus the other artists who are doing it may not be as obvious to the collector and buyer as it is to you. So, this is a huge problem that I see happen a lot. And it's very hard to win when you're in the pick a style category as an artist, meaning there's other people who are literally looking too much like you. So you're in the I'm one of many, many people doing the same kind of style. So the other part that I see happen to this is really the same thing, but a lot of people are taking courses and they're looking to other artists to really model what they're doing. And so they're also looking like other artists because of these courses. I've seen this happen with small courses. I've seen this happen with big courses. There's really big courses out there, and there are so many people that have this pick a style category because they're really similar to the other artists doing the same kind of approach. I hate to break it to you, but you look way more similar in a lot of cases than you might think. This is a huge problem. And this lesson I learned very early on when I was working in Nike footwear design. You cannot be in a pick a style category if you actually want to win. So let's get on to number two. You don't necessarily know where you fit in. And technically, I would call this positioning. So, positioning is really important as an artist, but most artists are not really sure where they fit into the market as an artist who can stand out. And this is a huge problem because, again, if you're in the pick style category and you don't really know your unique positioning, then it's really hard to stand out. And a lot of artists think that they have to conform. And I've felt this in the past myself as a early painter, and that's just not true. You don't have to conform at all. In fact, I'm going to say that you actually can win if you don't conform a lot easier. And so instead of being unique, I see a lot of artists really, again, trying to blend in because they think it's popular. They think that they should conform and bend themselves, and that is not good positioning. That is a pick a style positioning. And again, it causes problem because usually when you're not getting really strong positioning, you end up having to discount your work. And we're going to get into that in another video. I won't go into detail because I could go off on a tangent about pricing, but let's go into this one more level. So, being unique, which is what really good positioning will give you, it's way easier to win when you can be unique, be yourself, and really understanding who that right fit buyer is for you as an artist, as opposed to you bending yourself into someone else. So, positioning is really important, and being unique is super valuable because that's going to give you an edge in lots of different ways. We'll talk in more videos. But this is important. So if you're looking too similar and you don't have positioning, these are things you want to think about. And again, when I say positioning, it's really tapping into your uniqueness. So let's get into number 3. I see a lot of artists marketing and really trying to market before they've actually set a really good foundation as an artist. I see a lot of artists hustling in this marketing camp, and I feel your pain because I can appreciate how it feels like that's the natural thing to do. But what a lot of artists don't understand is that the main piece really, instead of doing all this marketing, which again, I see artists go, I need to grow my email list. I need to get people on my email list. Nobody wants to join your email list. I'm telling you right now, after years and years of selling my own work and doing it for other people as a designer as well, nobody wants to join your email list unless, and we'll talk about unless you have this unique positioning. And I think that if there's advice out there that's general, yes, you should grow your email list, but it's very, very hard to do, even as an experienced artist. I also see a lot of people trying to optimize their Shopify page and do all these things, but really, in a sense, they're focusing on the wrong things because you can't even get people to your page. And again, no one is really looking at your page as much as you think. If they love it and they really see great positioning and the price is right, they will buy it. But optimizing your Shopify page is not necessarily the advantage that you really want to look at in the beginning. So again, that's not something that I think you should look at. So really what I'm talking about here is artists are focusing on marketing and they really should be focusing on other things. Another example of focusing on marketing is maybe you're trying to chase how to get viral reels, how to do better on Instagram. And I do agree that is a huge part of how I've grown my art business, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But learning marketing won't really help anything that's really blending in. So if you're over here in the similar camp, you don't have unique positioning, you can try all the viral reels you want. It's still gonna be really hard to get momentum. You might get views, but you might not get sales. Views and sales are very different. We'll go into that more later. But I think that really this is about, you don't wanna learn marketing when you haven't yet figured out why you're actually blending in. So you don't really need to do marketing until you have a unique point of view. And I know I'm probably the only one out there saying this when there's tons of business people out there saying, you've got to do this, you got to do this. But I'm going to tell you, no, you don't. You don't need to do any of the marketing stuff until you have this. Your unique positioning, your point of view, what makes your art special and different. That once you have that, marketing becomes a lot easier. And we're going to go into detail on why I believe that. So you really just need to get great at positioning and get good as a painter. Now, I'm not saying you can't sell stuff along the way, which I have. I do believe you can, but I think that it's a little lower effort when you're actually coming from a unique position. This is your permission to stop all the marketing nonsense. I'm telling you right now, I'm probably the only artist out there saying stop the marketing nonsense. And if you do it in a logical order that will actually grow with your capacity as an artist, you're going to have better luck. It will be a lot easier. It's like trying to push a rock uphill. And I hate to tell you, it is a really big, long hill this way. So I recommend pausing on the marketing for a minute and really thinking about getting all of this sorted out. Get good, get unique, get your positioning, and the rest of the marketing will start working out really easily. So if this resonates with you, I want you to watch my next video where I break down exactly what you'd need to do to actually fix your art to build a really solid foundation as an artist. This is hugely important. I have done it for myself time and time again, and I'm actually rebuilding my unique point of view right now as we speak. And I've had less pushing of selling because I'm in a little bit of a rebuild mode, and it's definitely going to pay off. So don't think that taking the time to do this is not worth it. It has served me so well. If you really want to sell your art and you really want to know how to fix it, you really want to watch that next video. See you there.